Welcome to Fear Coded, a podcast where we talk about media from the horror genre and take a queer reading of a single book, video game, film, podcast, or TV show to explore just how queer horror can be. Now it's time to take our vows because we're continuing Excommunic-April, a month-long exploration of the subgenre of religious horror in all its holy glory. This week we're talking about the 2018 movie The Nun, directed by Corin Hardy and written by Gary Dauberman, from a story by Dauberman and James Wan. I'm Tyler.
Ho ho ho! Look out, mon petit fromage, for I have a shotgun! It's David.
Oh my god! Is this going to be a new thing? Are we going to have to prepare bits? Because
I think David should be the only bit preparer for this, because
I'm only going to do it when there's a foreign character with a shotgun.
Alright, fair enough. Well, I'm Marilee.
And before we get started with our perpetual prayers, I want to check in and say hello with my co-hosts and find out how things are going for them in the landscape of horrors that our real world has to offer. What's making y'all scared, or what's making you feel prepared? I'm going to go first, y'all. I feel prepared.
Oh, tell us why.
Well, this is a very recent prepared, and I mean recent, mama,
Wow.
because just a couple minutes ago, I got to FaceTime with some of my friends from back home, including seeing one of my very close friends with her newborn baby.
A baby?
A baby! This is my first time getting to talk to my friend and her husband since she gave birth to this wonderful child. And I got to see the baby. And normally I'm pretty anti-baby and anti-children in general. But because this is like my close friend's baby, I feel like I have to love this baby. And I'm ready to be a gay uncle for them.
Yeah.
So that was very sweet. And I also got to see my dear best friend Maureen. Hi, Maureen. Holding the baby and be very uncomfortable holding the baby.
Maureen, I feel and see and know who you are, because anytime someone hands me a baby, I treat it like a small explosive device, which in a lot of ways, infants are.
That is a baby.
But I worry about dropping it, even though I worked in child protection. I actually have handled a lot of strangers' children, but when it's like someone you know's child, the vibes are so much different.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
Apparently, also, baby head's really heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
it's true.
the whole
It's
baby is shockingly heavy.
Can't believe a baby head is so heavy as opposed to the rest of the body.
It's why babies are born as early as they are. Compared to other mammals, we're born super premature, but our noggins are so large that if we were born any later, it would simply kill the mom every time. So
Right.
we got big old melons.
That's the human body for you. Proof that God doesn't exist because childbirth is the way it is.
Wow.
Spicy.
Hey, it's
Hey.
Excommunic-April. It's Excommunic-April. I'm already been excommunicated as it is. Let's just go hard. Let's just go fully.
You have gone hard.
Militant atheism. That's the theme of this month.
That is fantastic. How old is the child?
Couple weeks.
Wow,
fresh baby. Right out of the
Yeah, this is
one.
right out of the oven. I think we're just about to hit a month.
Wow, not yet corrupted by YouTube, but soon, as all children must be.
Well, the husband is reading The Hobbit to him now.
Oh, that's
So I thought that was
Aw.
very cute.
Aw, grow up to be a stoner. I love that.
That's what I want. Hey, if that kid's going to be influenced by me, that's what's going to end up happening.
I'm just kidding. You can enjoy The Hobbit as a pre-developed prefrontal and not developed an interest in weed, but the
It
book
sure
wants
helps.
you to. So.
Yeah. Also, same. I don't do that at all. That's
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyway. We're talking about a movie today. David, tell us all about The Nun. Wait, no, we're not even there yet. I panicked so hard.
Wow.
I was selfish and skipped over the Scared and Prepared. I am so sorry. Maybe I should find God because I've become
Marilee,
such a
I will
selfish
be-
person.
I will be an actual gentleman and ask you, Marilee, are you feeling scared or prepared?
This kills the
Thank you,
Tyler.
David.
I'm gonna go to I have to go say penance prayers now.
So, the world is very scary, and it gets scarier every day. So I'm clinging to the things that have me prepared. And
Good.
Yeah, this is what I do. It's too much. It's too much, so I go very small. very small. And I'm prepared today because I have been thinking a lot about the tabletop RPG games that I'm playing in, and like my friends, and like this community that I have that I hold very, very close. And it's just, it has me feeling warm and fuzzy, is that I love that.
Aww.
I love that too, Mary. What games are you currently playing? Are you running anything? Or
Yes,
are you just
so
a player?
I'm still
Just
running
a
my
player.
Monster of the Week game.
Okay, fun.
Yes, yeah, I mentioned this earlier. It's set in a fictional town in Maine that I named Almost, because I thought that was cute. Almost Maine. It's very close to Canada.
Nice.
That's cute.
And it's I run the game like it is a CW TV show, like think Supernatural or Buffy or like anything like that. And that's kind of the vibe that we're going for. A lot of the times I will, when I'm asking a player about something, I was like, describe for the viewers what we're seeing here.
Nice.
And I will talk about like things as like shots, which is really fun. I do this for my brother and some of my best friends. I'm also in a couple other games, but particularly the D&D game that I'm playing is one of the favorite games that I've ever been in. I love it. It's just me and 2 other players in the DM, so it's very, very small. But I'm playing a storm sorcerer, and she's incredible. She's a tiefling. Her name is Freedom, and I love her so much. She's just a little smuggler scoundrel, and I love her. One of the other characters is a paladin who is great, and there's a rogue who is fantastic. It's set in such a fun world, and I just love playing in a space with my friends.
Oh, that's great, Mare.
That's adorable.
Oh,
I love
yay.
that.
Yeah, and we're playing D&D tomorrow, and like straight up, it's one of the only things that are getting me through the week. Some weeks is like I'm playing a game on this weekend, and so I cannot explode with nervousness or anything else. I have to survive because I'm playing a game. Let's go.
I like that.
Merrily,
I like
I'm
that.
also playing D&D tomorrow.
Ooh, what are you playing?
Yeah. I am in a Descent into Avernus campaign. And I am playing a level 9 paladin with 1 level in barbarian.
Nice, that's good.
He is also a homebrewed race called Badgerfolk.
Fantastic.
I love Redwall, and I was like, I want to play a badger. Those are fun.
Yeah, Redwall's great. God, I love the Redwall books. Shout out to my sister, who does not listen to this podcast, so she will never hear it. But when I was a little kid, she read, like, I'm one of 4 siblings. My older sister is 7 years older than I am. And she read Redwall to us one summer, and it's one of, like, the memories that I hold very close. And I simply cannot say Asmodeus without doing the snake voice because of her.
Love that.
Yeah.
One day I will read this, but I know that the book is not a short book to read.
It is a lot longer than I remembered it being when I read it again as like an actual adult. I was like, I forgot this whole thing with the magpies.
It is at least like an easy read because it's like children's literature.
Yeah,
Sure.
it's good.
So
I
So is The
also
Hobbit.
liked.
so is The Hobbit. Yeah.
Yeah, and
I could
Moss
read The
Flower is
Hobbit.
very fun.
I could read The Hobbit tomorrow. Just knock it all out.
David, what about you? Are you scared or prepared?
No, I'm scared.
Listen, relatable.
I saw a bug earlier. That's all. Just that they exist. So we have silverfish. They just show up every once in a while, but they are that sort of like milky exoskeleton.
They're so
Crawls
gross.
erratically. I'm not into them. And should you decide to end their lives, which I think that gentle listeners, I do, instead of squashing like a bug, they sort of smear.
Yeah, they're gross.
Yeah, it's just a really, it's a you know what, that's what I saw while I was sitting on the toilet, looking at blue sky, having finished peeing but not ready to stand up yet, and out of the corner of my eye did I see a scuttly little guy, and I said bye bye, and then I did squish him with a toilet paper.
Good job.
You're so valid.
Thank you.
I
Hate
get you.
this.
Bugs are gross.
That being said,
We love bugs for what they provide for the environment. Having said that, disgusting.
Yeah, listen, bugs are super important. I recognize that. Well, most bugs. Some bugs can fuck right off and they don't do anything. Looking at you, bed bugs, a bug that has been so intertwined with humanity, it has no natural environment other than us now. Fuck
Get
right
out
on
of
off.
Get out of here, bed bug.
Yeah,
Gross.
no, but bugs need to stay away from where I am and away from my house. It is April. Bugs are starting to wake up. I had to have an exterminator come by my house because we had too many wasps trying to set up shop around my house and porch.
No,
Fear.
those are worse. They have stingy.
Yes,
they go
they're not good.
Boom, boom, boom.
It's
No,
extremely
I
bad.
terrible.
Wasp. I don't like a wasp. I don't like
It
a wasp.
happens
I don't like a
every
fire
summer.
ant.
Every summer, every 1 year, the year that I moved in, there's like a gate to like the back, and wasps set up shop in between the slats on the gate fence. So when you opened
No.
the gate, your face was directly like at a wasp nest. It was the worst.
Oh my god.
They set a trap.
They did.
They did. I kind of like that part of it. They were like, "Fuck your gate. This is my gate now."
They're becoming sentient. This is not good.
Listen,
I don't like
think
any
we can
of
win
that.
against wasps if they try and take over the world. And like honestly, good luck, wasps.
Can birds
think-
get it together and start eating more of them, please?
Please. You fly, they fly. You can just open your mouth while you fly. Is it that hard?
I know. I mean, it does have a stinger, but like whatever.
That being said, I'm slightly prepared because I was sitting down to pee, and I think that's awesome, and more people should do it.
It's way more comfortable.
Blam. I have bad aim. I don't mind that being podcast lore that's out there. I miss too frequently to stand up. I can't be dealing with that every other day.
I'm so glad you can be vulnerable with us like that.
Yeah. I don't know what to tell you. It's like a jet stream. I can't. It's like an electro pack from Ghostbusters. I can't control that shit.
Don't cross the streams.
Proton pack. God damn it, David. When were you even born? Electro pack. Get out of here, David.
Come on. You've been too millennialized. You need to
Oh my
like
God,
dabble
I
in
know.
some Gen X.
I need to get back to my roots and it's Mike's been gone. Mike's been gone for a week, so I have no Gen X influence.
Oh no.
It's been all elder millennial around here, and I'm losing. I haven't watched The Lost Boys in 7 days. I haven't thought about Jerry O'Connell. Like, what's happening to me? I'm like the part of me that hugs the 80s is wisping away.
You got to
'cause
start
He hasn't been here.
watch some. Well, let's go back to like younger millennial then. So let's watch some like Terminator 2, Jurassic Park. You know, like the
I know, when I was-
like close to 80s, but into the 90s.
I was too old for all that. You're in the Derek Tyler world. I feel lost. I'm lost. I'm alone. I'm at sea. But not yet. Because
That's a different themed month.
it's a different themed month. Ooh, spoiler alert. And I have a tether that holds me together, which is both of you.
Oh.
So I'll keep my ship at your shores, and you will keep me prepared, and you're prepared this week. But you know where I won't see any haven or solace is in the topic of today's conversation, because we are here talking about the movie The Nun, which is the 5th film in the Conjuring cinematic universe and a direct spinoff to The Conjuring 2. It was announced 5 days after The Conjuring 2 was released in theaters.
That is, I want the self-confidence of whatever movie executive was just like, this is good enough. Let's make a sequel. Let's make a spinoff.
I don't know if you remember, but people were nuts about this Nun. I completely
you.
understand why an executive was like, let's
like right after The Conjuring 2 came out?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you?
Wow.
Have you? Okay, we're gonna get to it, Tyler. We're
Okay,
gonna get to it because
okay.
I have thoughts on this.
All right, let me continue this overview for anyone that's not been nunified. The Nun follows Vatican investigator Father Burke, novitiate nun and psychic Sister Irene, and helpful villager Frenchie investigate an isolated abbey in rural Romania. Say that 10 times fast. After the suicide of a nun and reports that something supernatural might be going on.
While reviews for The Nun were mixed, which is, I think, something that we're going to have a lot to say about also, it is the highest grossing film in the Conjuring universe, and even spawned its own sequel, The Nun 2, The Nun Who Shagged Me. That's not the actual
Nice.
thing. I just think that's funny, and I will, every time I say a sequel, will have a funny, different other thing attached to it, so I hope you look forward to that going forward.
Bring it on.
And that movie came out just a couple years ago in 2023. So what are your relationships with The Nun and the entire Conjuring Cinematic Universe, or of course the TCCU.
Oh my goodness. All right, so I want to start by saying that this was a David pick. And so you know what? Don't get out your little bingo cards. David picks a bad movie. But here's what I remembered. When The Conjuring 2 came out, everyone was dressing like this nun because she like briefly appears in the film. She ends up being the major antagonist of Conjuring 2 and was really, really scary in that film. And they thought, everyone loves this girl. Let's do something more with her. And then they delivered this to us, which I don't think accomplishes the same thing as The Conjuring 2. This is my first watch of anything in the franchise, and I was snoozy bored the first time I watched this film, but it got me to watch The Conjuring 2, Annabelle Creation, Annabelle Come Home, smiley face, Conjuring the Devil Made Me Do It, this voice, The Nun, and The Nun 2. So I have now seen every available film in the Conjuring Cinematic Universe. And honestly, the whole household got in on this one. And we were pretty aligned on our feelings that The Nun is the second worst of them. The worst being the original Annabelle. Hot garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So this was also my first time watching it. I will admit that I am a huge fan of the first Conjuring film. Like, very specifically, I hadn't really heard of it. Like, until right before it released, I was on Tumblr and I saw like a GIF of a scene from that movie that was in a lot of the trailers where a sheet like flew down and like was like covering an invisible person and then flew off. And I saw that, and I was like, holy shit, what is that movie? And so, like, I went and I sought it out. I saw The Conjuring 2, The Warrens Take London, like, the opening weekend.
Nice.
And so, like, I was there. I remember very distinctly the nun mania that happened.
It was nun-tastic, Marilee. It was nun. We loved this girl.
We loved her. That being said, as a whole, a general rule, I don't really care for spin-offs, especially not spin-off prequels. So I never watched Annabelle, and I was very vindicated when Annabelle, the first one, absolutely sucked. Loved, because like I hated that. And so I also never watched this one because of my general distaste, and also felt vindicated when I heard this one sucked. So again, hadn't seen it before.
So here's my relationship with The Conjuring, and this might be one of my most shameful admissions on the pod so far.
Tell us.
I have only ever seen the first Conjuring movie.
That's okay. It's a great movie.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, like the first one's really good.
Although wait, I did see the Annabelle movie where like I think it must be the one that you watched, David. The second one where you were like, because
I think David
Home?
liked the third one the most.
I liked the one where they're in like a ranch. And
yeah, that's the one I
Annabelle-
watched.
Yeah, I don't remember. I've now forgotten. Are there 4, Marilee?
No, there
God, I
are
watched
3, but
so
I was
many
going
of these.
based solely off your facial expressions. It seemed like the first one was garbage, the second one was better, and the third one was like good.
The third one was the one where she like activates all the other things in the house. That was fun, but it was like campy fun. The second one was the one that I was like, this is actually a good movie.
Oh.
Yes,
Okay,
that's so I have seen The Conjuring and then the good Annabelle movie. That's it though. I have been wanting to see The Conjuring 2 for the longest time, but always something is getting in the way. But I think maybe after we're done recording, I might watch it. So
Okay.
Yeah, well, now
We'll see
you,
how that
now
goes.
you know where
For
Valak
if
came
we
from.
ever do a Conjuring 2 Electric Boogaloo episode, I personally think that The Conjuring 2 it's fine. I think it's a good movie. I think the Warrens are really the heart of it. I don't think like some of the scares are better, but as a whole, I don't think it's nearly as cohesive and good a film as Conjuring 1.
The Conjuring 1 I wanted to watch, and I also got it by sailing the 7 seas, so I'm a little proud of myself for that. But essentially, I wanted to see it because everyone was saying it felt like a throwback to 70s horror, like a Rosemary's Baby,
Yeah.
The Exorcist kind of vibe. And it certainly did qualify for those things. So I really enjoyed the first one. Didn't see the second one. Saw that one good Annabelle, but then everything else, I was like, this looks lame, or I heard it sucks. And that, unfortunately, includes The Nun, which I heard wasn't very good, so I avoided it for the longest time. And after seeing it, I had extremely low expectations, so in a way, I felt it was better than I thought it was going to be.
Sure,
but
yeah.
We'll talk about it.
The floor was the floor.
Yeah.
I'm glad to know about this. I would love to put Conjuring on our radar because I do think
let's do it.
I would be excited to talk Conjuring 2 with you, Marilee, because I think I actually had more fun with the second one than the first one, but we're talking a 4.5 and a 5-star experience. I thought these films were excellent.
Yeah, I think, again, The Conjuring 2 is a really good movie. I just think, as a whole, the first one has a better narrative. I think there was too much stuff in the second one, and they were trying to put too many pieces together, and with too many big scares, and I just don't think it worked as well as a movie. That makes sense.
Versus The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, made me start a letterboxed list that I now maintain, which is Why is the Basement So Large? Of films in which there is a basement that defies all physics because it's just cavernous for no particular reason.
I love and treasure you, and I need you to know that.
What's on that list, you might ask? It is Jurassic World Dominion.
Yep.
Because they put a T-Rex in the basement.
Oh my
too
God.
Big. The Devil Made Me Do It, and Heretic with Kitty Patootie.
Hugh Grant, right?
Hugh Grant, yeah.
Yeah, that's fun.
Basement, too big. Not a basement. A superliminal space. It's a backroom situation.
A backroom, which you can listen to all about in our internet horror minisode from back in October of 2024.
But for now, I'm full, so I want no more. I want none.
All right, so we're going to get into the themes now, which actually this is not... If you were hoping for a refuge from nun puns, I am sorely ashamed to admit that we're just going to dive deeper into it. So our first one...
I tried to fit in more. I honestly cut myself back because I didn't think that David would like it.
Nonsense. I'm all here for it.
God.
Nunsploitation! Catholics, they go hard on aesthetics. From the fashionable fits to the powerful accessories or even the dread-inducing architecture in the Abbey, the look of this movie is dripping in Catholic swag. It is no wonder Catholic imagery ends up in all different forms of media. I personally felt that it is amazing how well good aesthetics can lift a film from being poor to just kind of all right. I think the first third of the movie works really well because it is trying to evoke an energy, a vibe, and it's using a lot of common Catholic iconography to do that. The nuns, creepy abbey. We've got priests in the Vatican being shady and shadowy, and we've got a nun and a mother superior and blah, 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 all this other stuff, and I think it works well until it doesn't anymore.
Yeah. I expect that all three of us will be lobbying some pretty significant criticisms at this film, but I cannot deny that the Abbey, Chapel, and Convent are all incredibly effective set pieces. When they are practical, I don't even mind the CG that is the exterior, because I think it's finely done. I don't think it's expertly done. And, per Marilee's point earlier, this movie made a lot of money because its budget wasn't very big. And that's why they couldn't afford an incandescent light bulb. And the film could have used one.
Oh my God! I was not expecting that. It really got me.
They said, hey, they did it in The Witch. We can also light everything by candlelight.
Girl. Anyway, there are some real misses in the film, though. Down to, like, some even pedantic stuff that I'm not normally onto, but, like, a Bible doesn't hold the vows for becoming a nun in it. Father Burke, put that down. Also, you don't have your own Bible? You're like a priest who travels with a Bible suit. Anyway, there's a lot of that's going to come up, and I think the criminality of this film is that at its base, a nun's scapula and coif, the hat and the neck thing, the wimple, the white part of when you close your eyes and you think of a nun, that's all by itself kind of scary, which is why I think the nun worked in Conjuring 2. And we just never reached that same level because we used all of our good tricks in Conjuring 2. And that is so wildly disappointing, because I think adjust your TV the right amount and you can make Sister Act kind of a horror film.
Yeah, agreed. I went to a Catholic school when I was very, very, very little, like elementary. I don't know that I actually went to like a grade where I was taught by nuns. I might have been though. And let me tell you, they're very scary in person. I remember that. Like, that was the very few things I remember from when I was that little. So it's shocking how big of a miss this is.
Yeah. Well, holy shit is our second theme.
Oh my God.
Most religious stories are on grand scale. The creation of the entire universe, beings of pure evil, fighting to end or save the world. We love stories with biblical stakes. In this film, we have no less than a Deus Ex Machina MacGuffin of the actual blood of Mr. Jesus Christ.
The literal blood of literal Jesus Christ. I could not believe it. This was some Dan Brown nonsense here.
Nonsense.
Nonsense!
Just... and then, of course, the problem with that is that there's no higher place to take the stakes when you are talking about a bomb that is literally Jesus Christ's blood.
Yeah.
It's
the holy hand grenade from Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Truly.
Yes,
1,
exactly.
2, 5.
No, and like I saw Tyler's note here, and it just, as a lapsed Catholic myself, I was just like, what are you doing here? What is this?
You can just get more Jesus blood at Sunday Mass. The priest could have just made some more. They just had a
that's
bottle
the whole thing.
of
Transubstantiation. Catholics, like during the Great Schism, said that it's literally Jesus' blood every time you perform Mass. So like, what is? Come on now.
It just was.
Well, and I know
Protestant
transubstantiation.
wrote this for sure.
Wow. Wow. I'm a little surprised that ChatGPT didn't write this, but we're going to talk a lot more about transubstantiation at the end of the month. I am nearly certain. So we don't need to get too much into it now, except that I will say that the plotline you wish that would have happened in The Nun actually happens in The Nun 2, in which Sister Irene does, in fact, transubstantiate to end the conflict in that film.
She can't do that. She's a nun. It's a whole thing with the priests.
Well, wait till we talk about queer heroes, Tyler, because my girl's not held back.
Let's fucking go. All right.
But first,
let's go. Third theme. New verse, same as the first. Spin-off prequels have a difficult path to walk, telling a complete and compelling story while still leaving enough room for the media that originated the spin-off property to still be canon. Today's film carries the weight of the origins of the demon Valak, who terrorized the hero characters from The Conjuring 2.
All right, I don't think I'm alone in that. Well, I know I'm not alone in this because I read Letterboxd reviews, I read contemporary reviews when we talk about films. But the best part of this franchise is the Warrens. They are compelling and interesting characters. Two main reasons. Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga are like outstandingly cast. And the real life Warrens are bizarre and problematic, and that makes them fun and interesting to see fictionalized versions of. And in fact, from a psychological perspective, because the Warrens, as we know them, are different than who the Warrens actually were, and these fictionalized Warrens are like based on the sort of persona of the Warrens that were built. It's nom 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 nom. I love it all. I love that now dead Mrs. Warren was like, don't portray my husband as having an affair with a 15-year-old, even though he did. But outside of the bookends, which are reused scenes from The Conjuring 2, the Warrens are absent from this film, and yep, that's part of why it's not very good.
Yeah. I think the movie works kind of like I said earlier, like where it's establishing the mood and the stakes, which I think is also among the reasons why people really like the Conjuring movies. The first Conjuring came out in late 2000s, so this was or early 2010s. We're fresh off of the Saw movies. We're fresh off of torture porn. People want something different, and James Wan had this great idea. Well, let me do a throwback to the horror movies that I grew up with, and boom, here comes The Conjuring. And I think that is kind of like if you're making a checklist of what should the Conjuring Cinematic Universe movies do, and creating a mood is one of them, and because I think that's one of the things they do most effectively. I think the other thing too is that they have very shocking openings, and I think we definitely nail that, because what is more shocking than a nun, committing
dying by suicide,
the ultimate sin of death by suicide, So I think that stuff works really well. It's just then we start to go in a different direction than I was expecting, and I ended up disappointed as a result of that. But
true story. As
someone who hasn't really seen much of the Conjuring Cinematic Universe, I think it still kind of worked well enough on its own, minus the issues that are just inherent within this movie itself.
Right. Can I talk about
as previously stated, I am on the record. I fucking hate spin-off prequels. I'm not a fan. This was some of my least favorite parts of the movie are the fact that they tied in with the original, like the whole Conjuring Cinematic Universe of it all.
Can I talk a little bit about the TCCU though for a moment?
Yes, please.
Because I was surprised a little about this. This is a wildly popular and successful. In fact, it is the second most successful cinematic universe after the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And to scale, it is better performing because it has made back over 10 times its budget, and the MCU is currently hovering around 8 times its budget because they are much more expensive. In that its overall budget of all 8 films in the Conjuring Cinematic Universe is $208 million and has made gross $2.3 billion worldwide.
Wow.
The entire series is more successful internationally than it is in the United States.
I'm also not surprised there.
Every single film is more successful in Asian markets, European markets, and South American markets than the American market.
That is so fascinating. Wow.
Yeah, I absolutely believe that. Like that in the nunsploitation, I did the notes for this one. I really wanted to tie in somewhere, but I didn't think it really fit, so I kind of cut it out. But specifically, anime loves taking Catholic stuff and like recontextualizing it, or like there are lots of another thing that's here from the US, like there was like Warrior Nun, which was so funny, but like the idea of like demons being real and like these nuns or other religious organizations fighting them is a really, really, really common trope in a lot of the world, but especially in like Asia and other places where Christianity has a little bit more of a strong stranglehold than here in the US, which is becoming more and more agnostic.
Well, and it probably won't surprise you to hear this, but if you look at the countries in which these films do the best, they are often those colonized by Spain, where Catholicism, where that was the major branch of Catholicism outreach, in the South America, Philippines, other Asian influence. Just really kind of a fascinating look into how colonialism continues to haunt us, like a nun, and it is just as ugly.
Honestly,
hey, no offense to any nun listeners. We're not saying that you're ugly. Though,
yeah,
hey, listen, if you are a nun and you are listening to this podcast right now, please reach out to us at fearcodedpod@gmail.com. I'd love to hear your story.
That would actually be awesome. But I was going to say, like, we should probably talk about doing, like, a Latin American horror month, because I know that there are a lot of, like, good, like, religious horror and, like, folk horror that we didn't talk about last month. That's coming out of like Latin American countries or countries that just don't speak English as their predominant language. I don't know, might be something interesting to keep an eye out for in the future.
Done. I would love that.
Nos podemos, sí. It probably won't surprise either of the two of you to know that The Nun enjoys the lowest Rotten Tomatoes rating at a 24% point, which also makes it the lowest rated Rotten Tomatoes score of a film that we have covered for this podcast.
Wow.
I am not surprised that it's the lowest of the things that we've talked about, because we've talked about some bangers. But I simply cannot believe that it has a lower rating than Annabelle. And frankly, I think that it is because Annabelle did so badly, critics were extra hard on this, if you know what I mean. And so that is a disproportionate and wrong tomato score.
Don't worry, Marilee. The Metacritic has Annabelle where it rightly belongs, in last place,
as it should be.
Yeah.
So sometimes you gotta trust the critics over the people. And that is some background on the Conjuring cinematic universe. And there is a new film coming out with the Warrens here shortly, The Conjuring 4.
Oh, no way.
So
I thought the third one was the
or-
last one.
Well, I get to make it up.
it does, and I don't remember it. Sorry, Marilee.
That's okay.
But the Warrens will return in Avengers: The Conjuring.
I just
All
looked
right,
it up.
so-
It's called The Conjuring Last Rites.
That feels...
that's good. That's a good sequel subtitle.
Oh, there's
Yeah.
a trailer
Honestly,
and everything. Came out a week
now
ago.
that I've watched...
September 5th.
Yeah. Now that I've watched all these, we could have really covered pretty much any of these for our Catholic horror, but I think picking the one that is about a nun, has a protagonist that is a nun, an antagonist that is a nun, an antagonist that sometimes is an army of nuns. This felt very Catholic for us to talk about, and I think it's also great to look at something that failed. I think it's kind of fun. We have a good time with it. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So, David,
So
I
let's
think you have
start.
a question for us.
I do have a question for us, because I would have no question for you if we were covering The Conjuring. I would say this is horror. If we were covering The Conjuring 2, I'd be like, not Marilee's favorite, but probably still horror. Even Annabelle, creepy doll, horror. But is The Nun, a film ostensibly about a nun interacting with other nuns, a horror, or is this a rejected Father Dowling mystery sequence?
Jesus Christ, David.
She's a streetwise nun, Tyler.
Well, I can't do anything with the question of Father Dowling. However, as far as The Nun goes, I do think that it's horror in the way that like a sideshow carnival funhouse is horror. The vibes can only take us so far. I actually had like a couple genuinely good like scares in like the first third of the movie.
Yeah.
And then things start to take a turn once they spend their first night at the Abbey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because it's not successful doesn't mean it's not a horror movie, David. How dare you?
It certainly
That's
has
fair.
the
That's
trappings
fair.
of
That's
horror.
fair.
I'll give it that
That's
much.
Yeah. I think my problem is that specific to this month, it was like we had forgotten parts of our vestments when we were getting dressed in the morning, because like one of the things I know is important for this month and for this subgenre of horror, religious and Catholic horror in particular, is the nature of characters struggling with belief and doubt. We got a lot of that last week with Faith, the video game. But here, it almost felt like it was a paint by numbers canvas, and we ran out of that paint. And that was a little bit of a bummer to see, because I think we spent too much time doing other things. And I can't believe I'm going to say this, but in the modern era of film, an hour 36 minutes is not a very long runtime. You could have had more going on. And you also could have cut 25 minutes from this film.
Easily.
So there's a better The Nun movie.
In
and
this
it's called
movie.
The Nun 2.
Yeah, so my thing about this film, I did the notes. I had a real struggle trying to come up with the themes, because I kept thinking, I'm so sorry, this movie's not about anything. What this movie is about is making money. They wanted to have the nun in a movie, and that is what they did. It's simply here, and it's not trying to explore anything other than how can we scare people for money.
Yeah.
So is it a horror? Yes. More important, in my opinion, for this podcast, is it queer? Because, this movie has a pretty limited cast, and there's not a whole lot that they do or have internal depth about. So is there anything that we can find to create a queer narrative within it?
I think there is. And I have a couple of things that lead me to this. I think that Frenchie gets a little bit of our time. He's French, so...
Canadian.
We get like... Yeah, okay, well, that's double points for me then. He's, so he's got a little bit of that going on. He's, but also like he is adding levity to a lot of situations. More Frenchie in this movie could have made it more camp, so that we were in a Strays situation where it's bad, but it's like good that it's bad. Like it's a riff tracks thing. Or we could explore the very nature of the demon Valak taking on the nun vestments as like sort of a playing with gender dynamics demon queen. Get it? Boots ground down. But I think the other one that I'm going to probably spend the most of my time during the analysis of the movie for is Irene herself. I think that there's something going on with this spunky nun. She's not your average nun. And I think we get a lot of that in the first third. Again, I don't want to steal Tyler's valor here, but the first third of this film is actually pretty good. And Irene's introduction is outstanding. To the point that I think when I picked this and when I even started watching it, I was like, oh, the titular nun is Valak, this scary demon. And then realizing, oh no, the titular nun is Irene. This is about her hero's journey. It just sucks. And that's the bummer there, is that we didn't actually tell a compelling hero's journey because we were spending so much time being like, ooh, look, a snake. Mm-hmm. And that's where Act 2 and 3 fell apart.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. Yeah. I think by attempting to be a horror movie and a jump scare movie and a third act action movie, because honestly, near the end of the movie, it feels like a Marvel movie if it was horror.
A little bit.
The movie fails to do anything meaningful with what it brings to the table. Much like David said, I think the bones of this movie are really good. I think Sister Irene is a super interesting character, and we'll talk about her. I think she's the closest representative of someone that's queer because she is definitely throwing off the dynamics of a very specific religious power structure. She's the one in charge here. And I mean, she's not even fully a nun, like for the majority of the movie. She's still a novitiate. Right. So I think that is like an interesting queering of the dynamic of power, which I love. And I think it also works in terms of like a feminine criticism that you could lobby it, that you could totally analyze this movie with, because it is showing a woman having power in her role that is not typical, but she's not like pretending to be a man, like in a masculine role. Like she's not saying I'm the priest here. She's saying I'm a nun, but as a nun, I have powers that a priest does not have and cannot have based off of the rules that we have. So I'm going to exercise those things. I think that's fascinating. There is not enough meat in this movie for us to really kind of claim it, though. And that's why I think the bones are there. It's kind of like a Star Wars The Phantom Menace situation where there's the bones of a really good movie hidden under here, but at the end there's just too much schlock.
Wow. I'll say what I said the last time you invoked the Phantom Menace. This film would have benefited from Jar Jar Binks.
Oh, totally. Actually, Frenchie is kind of your Jar Jar Binks.
Oh my god, he is!
Yeah.
Misa have a shotgun.
He's even got a funny accent. I broke Merrily. Merrily, for the rest of this podcast, will be performed by a squeaking gerbil.
Yeah. Okay, rude. But no, yeah.
I love you.
All right, y'all
I love
got
you so
me.
much.
I love you guys. I've missed you.
I know, I've missed you all. But
See?
Merrily, tell us, what do you think of The Nun?
Oh, I just, you are all correct. I think that they're, like, listen, I will find things, no matter what the movie or thing in front of me wants to serve me. I will keep hunting until I find my truffles, goddammit. And I think there could be a lot of really interesting stuff that we could get into about Irene, and I think that we're gonna have a really beautiful conversation about that. I just wanted to say that a demon that wears the vestments of their enemy for like the bit, that's camp, babes.
That's camp. This is very the climactic end of Mulan. I love it. Dress up, be a man, and sing that song.
Be a nun, you must be.
Oh my god.
Evil.
No, I immediately dead.
Oh, it was perfect though. It was be a nun is perfect. A plus.
We can't go beyond that or else Disney's gonna sue us, so.
Oh yeah, that's right. I didn't just immediately choke and didn't have something to say. I stopped so that Disney's lawyers wouldn't kill us.
Merrily, this is why you're the employee of the month at the Glitterjaw headquarters.
I take care of the bats and I do that.
Y'all, Spotify be labeling some stuff that we all have released, so we gotta take care of it. So you're not wrong. All right, well then, table set, horror, sure, queer, we'll see. Are you ready to enter the Abbey and talk about these wacky nuns?
Let's do it.
Let's talk about some wacky nuns.
Let's talk about some wacky nuns. Well, the film opens with a brief montage from The Conjuring 2, as we have mentioned, before jumping directly into the action. Deep within a deeply creepy castle/abbey, two nuns approach a door that has "God ends here" carved into it in Latin, I suppose. One nun is killed by an unseen force shortly after passing a key to the other and telling her that she knows what she must do. The remaining nun, Sister Victoria, flees while pursued by an evil force before she takes a rope, fashions a noose for her neck, and leaps out a window. And that's the third out a window for us for the month. A few days later, Frenchie discovers Sister Victoria's body.
Does she count for a defenestration situation? Because she does open the window first.
You know, I'm just counting out windows. I think that to truly qualify for defenestration, something must launch you out the window, as made famous by the defenestration of Prague, a window that I've been to.
No way.
But you don't have to open a window because the defenestration of Prague is just an open archway. And P.S., it's like 5 feet off the ground. You could have dusted yourself out and not start a 30 years war. 50 years war? Tyler, which one was it?
I don't fucking know.
Okay, one of the wars. That
Anyway,
had
what a
zero
great
in it.
humble brag from David yet again.
Sorry, I've been to Prague.
I think that this movie, like specifically the intro here, I think the intro is like kind of effective. I did roll my eyes at like the little warning that says "God ends here" because it's like, no nun's gonna cover that. No Catholics are gonna cover that. God's everywhere. Come on now.
God is everywhere.
But
here's the problem. I think that right away you showed me the best ways that you used the nuns' vestments to elicit horror from The Conjuring 2, and we're like, don't worry, I'll never do this again.
Yeah, I honestly hate that montage, and I wish it wasn't there. I hate it for a number of reasons. Again, I don't like that shit anyway, but like it really truly does like scupper your momentum immediately because she's so effective in The Conjuring.
Yes.
To Electric Boogaloo. I already did that one shit. The Conjuring 2.
When dreams come true.
Out the
None
window.
Too Furious.
Out the window.
People get defenestrated in that one too. But it's such a bummer that we never see anything that good again. The rest of the opening works, I think.
Right.
I liked Sister Victoria. Sister Jessica is the other nun who I only learned her name like 5 minutes before we started playing, like recording this because I just had the thing on, and we see that flashback again later in the film, and she's actually given a subtitle name. So I was like, wow. It's Sister Jessica. Okay, hello.
Yeah, there are a lot of nuns, and
there
a lot
are
of
so
them
many
are
nuns.
Just sort of throwaway. Here's what I'll say: is it never quite gets to The Conjuring 2, but I do like Valak, who is the demon nun. The slow entrance through the lit corridor and the candles extinguishing while the music ramps up, and you see two things going on Sister Victoria. And I should have looked up this actor, but she is doing the most in this moment. She is looking terrified, and is the only character that I see going through a belief versus doubt moment.
Yes.
Where she knows that her sacrifice must be made to die by suicide. She knows that death by suicide it's one of those bad sins, the ones that you can't get forgiven from.
Venial.
Thank you. That one. But she does it anyway, and that actor did a great job of portraying all that on her face, no dialogue. So that was all delivered for you. And God, I wish everyone else had like taken some notes from her. Maybe this was the last scene they filmed, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we should have done that some more. Oh well, let's back it up." But yeah, this and honestly, the image of Valak in the closed window that's sort of obscured, then the demon nun looks best when you don't know if you actually saw it or not.
Yeah, 100%. Like a lot of horror stuff.
Like
Jaws.
Jaws. I mean, lots of Hitchcock. And we even talked about that a little bit with our girl Marianne Crane and her tribulations through life. Like, it's a little scarier when you're just sort of psyching yourself into it. But this film is like, no, people liked that Halloween costume. We got to show this girl some more. And that's where we kind of fall apart.
Again, like
Yeah,
the theme of this movie, what they were trying to tell you was that buy more nun stuff, and it really does pervade the entire feature, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Also, I had it wrong. It's a mortal sin.
Mortal sin, thank you.
Venial sins
almost...
are like the small ones.
Oh, okay. The ones I do on microphone every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are psychic, like, protuberances into reality.
Oh. Well, it's 1958, Tyler, so where are we?
So it's 1958, and right now we're in the Vatican. Father Burke has gotten a mission to go check out the circumstances of this nun's suicide. Who, by the way, most of the time they just call her the nun, which is kind of confusing. He is also told to pick up a novitiate, Sister Irene, because she's familiar with the territory, and Burke wouldn't be allowed to investigate the cloistered parts of the convent without her. When they meet, Irene is confused why the Vatican could possibly want her to go, because she's never been anywhere near there, but Burke assures her that the Vatican always knows best. Frenchie is still haunted by his discovery and not really excited to head back up to the Abbey. After some gentle coaxing from Irene, he agrees to come. The three get to know each other a little as they journey to the Abbey, with Burke revealing that investigating the suicide is only part of his job. The Vatican wants him to be there to be sure the convent is still holy. Frenchie's horse, which stopped before actually getting anywhere close to it, and the entire village all agree it super isn't holy anymore, and actually the land itself is deeply cursed.
Don't worry, listeners. We won't do anything with this information, so you can just let that go.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow.
I think Father Burke is kind of just there.
Ugh. Nancy Botwin's husband from season 3 of Weeds. What are you doing in this movie?
Wishing he was in a better movie, honestly.
Wishing he was anywhere else.
Yeah.
I straight up, when I watched this movie, I was thinking, man, investigating miracles and like doing this thing. It was like, where is the spinoff of Father Burke and Irene post this movie? Like, that's what I thought, like the obvious spinoff would be. Like the two of them investigating in the 50s and like further on other weird stuff that's going on. And
maybe like Father Garcia and John end up finding notes from them.
Yeah,
right.
like,
or
they could have their handshake in 80s style later.
They move to Chicago. He changes his name to Father Dowling, and he gets played by Tom Bosley. I have it all for you.
Oh,
I'm going to make you watch Father Dowling Mysteries.
I'm so concerned about this, but
she's a streetwise nun.
Oh God. Yeah. No, I think the little town didn't really work for me. That felt kind of like
little town full of little people. Every day, like the one before.
I told you we can't quote Disney too much or they'll sue us.
Why is it in Romania? Why is it in Romania? Because all we need is Frenchie to be there. That's the only point of the town, is to have Frenchie be there. Frenchie, who famously is...
I think there was something mentioned from pop culture osmosis about Valak coming from like Romania.
Okay. Well, then, you know what? Cheerfully withdrawn. I withdraw my comment. Senator, continue on with the proceedings.
Oh, don't call me a senator. That's a horrible insult. I really want to talk about Sister Irene now.
Okay.
Now that we've run into Taissa Farmiga. I think Taissa Farmiga is a delightful actress. I love that she and Vera Farmiga are, I think they're sisters, not mother and daughter, which is a common mistake.
Vera is older by a fair bit of stretch, but they are sisters.
Yes. So I do like that there is like a little bit of a connection there. Marilee, I see here in the notes you talked quite a bit about this. I want to hear from you and your knowledge.
Yeah, so I love Taissa Farmiga. I truly agree. I think she does a really great job. I think she's one of the best parts of the movie. I also think it's a little distracting that she is the titular nun. Because like her resemblance to her sister is so strong, that like you are constantly like, what is going on here? Or at least I was. I'm pretty sure there is a one-line mention in one of the earlier Conjuring films where Elizabeth says that she has an aunt who's a nun, so presumably that is the connection. But I just it's always bothered me that that's just was there, because are they assuming that only this particular family line is psychic? Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I think she does a really good job, so I was willing to overlook this because I thought that it was an unintentional, this was just the best person for the job casting. That is truly how I read it, because I didn't see any connection, and I'm pretty sure, especially after the events of The Nun 2, I don't think Sister Irene's like, well, enough with being a nun, time to find a man and have a baby so that I can
well,
make
no,
these
it's not even
Conjuring
that, because
movies
like
happen.
this is only 20 years before
Right. Not enough
the
time.
first Conjuring film, and
Yeah.
where Elizabeth is like alive and well and like a huge person. So like if there is a relation, it has to be like farther up the line. And again, I'm
Right.
pretty sure she must have mentioned she has an aunt or something, but that could just be my brain misremembering, desperately looking for a connection, because I simply don't know why else you would have cast her in this role.
Yeah, I mean, best person for the job is the only thing that I can offer, because I do think she's very good. I think she does a really good job with Irene, especially in a film where Irene gets more screen time. But I think she's doing the best she can with this script in this film, and that was my read on her casting, and it really just had nothing to do with the familial connection.
Well, David, I also see like here you're talking in our notes about her intro. Do you want to dive into that a little?
I think that everything about introducing this character, and again, first third of this movie is a good movie. It is doing everything that a film needs to do to say, David, you like this character. She's teaching at a Catholic school because she's a Catholic nun in training. That word that Tyler keeps getting asked to say that. Thank you. I'm so glad wasn't in my notes. But she's telling a story about dinosaurs, and she's like, oh yeah, they weren't in the Bible, but neither were like penguins or something. She's cute. She's sort of liberal with the way that she's teaching and training these folks. When she meets Frenchie, she's adorable because he's sort of like this horn dog in long pajamas. And she's like, actually, I'm a nun. No big deal. When they go into the sty with the pigs, Father Burke can barely walk around. He's got to hold a handkerchief to his nose. And she's just like, no big deal. I smell shit all the time. Ooh, watch out. I love Irene instantly. And it's criminal anytime the camera is not on her.
I am so in agreement with you. I think she is a quintessential modernized vision of a nun.
Yes.
That would not have existed in like the 50s in whatever. I think they're in London or something. I don't remember what the location tag was for her convent. But
it's like, somewhere in Europe for sure, but simply no, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. But like the point being, like, she's definitely got the vibes of someone that we would find palatable as a 21st century audience that I don't think would super be realistic. But I do think like the idea of a like Maria von Trapp, like troublesome nun, is something that we as a Western audience love. That's always super fun for us. And I think it also works because she, in a lot of those ways that you're describing, David, I think she is kind of like queering up the story, because she is doing a lot of things that go against what the dominant ideology, which is the Catholic Church, the biggest ideology probably in the world, especially at that time period that this movie takes place, is saying she has to be. And she is saying, no, I'm not going to be any of those things. I'm going to be my own person. Even like Mother Superior doesn't like her because she is acting out of sorts. And like, I love that queer heroine baby. And I think like you could even like further like go that way as like an ace hero, because she does find Frenchie to be kind of charming, but she's like, obviously she's going to be chaste because she's trained to become a nun. But I think also she seems very much divorced from the idea of any sort of romantic attraction in a way that I think is like, ooh, that's fun. I like that. Yeah. This is an interesting person to watch.
Yeah.
But she sort of flirts with him in what I'm going to say is a femme fatale way. Like almost like weaponizing, but it's not her sexuality because she is ace. Like that is such a great way of looking at it, Tyler. But it's almost like she's weaponizing the fact that she's kind of cute and he wants to talk to a girl. and they need information that he has. I mean, she plays him like a fiddle.
Yeah, she
and
gets
it's
like
great.
she very gently convinces him to help them, and I really love that. I also think that her moment of like pure delight and laughter as like the truck is rolling away with their bags when she's laughing at Father Burke is one of my favorite moments in the entire film.
I so with you, Mary. I was like on an on-ramp. I was like, oh my God, is this movie actually good? Because that scene, it's so warming. It's like the sort of thing you would see out of a rom-com, because they're about to be like this mystery demon fighting duo. They are like the Warrens in the 50s, only like super Catholic and not just a little Catholic, and kind of fun. They're screwball together. It's so good. And then we get to the Abbey and not good.
Wheels
okay,
fall off.
but wait, let's talk about some other wheels that fell off, because when we open on the Vatican and Father Burke is walking with unnamed bishop, and they're all like conspiratorial and like, why did we have to get together?
Conclave!
It is conclave. It is giving me such like deep inner machinations of the Catholic Church, which is like super fucking interesting. And we are throwing around like, this is what I was doing in the war, which is super interesting, because Catholicism during World War II is like wildly fascinating. And the neutrality, even recognized by fascists, so powerful was the reach of the Catholic Church that they worried that soldiers would defect if they crossed this boundary. This is like yum, 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 yum. And it is for literally nothing.
Yeah. Nothing!
It is so disappointing.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I was shocked we didn't get this spin-off, because like, you could get more of like the Vatican stuff with Irene and Burke dealing with like whatever handlers they have for their miracle hunting in there, and we could get more like Catholic intrigue, and then you could have like other people who think that like all of the supernatural stuff is bunk, and so they could be like battling forces in the Vatican, and like the movie's right there, and we just get like just this barest hints, and they never go anywhere with it.
Yeah. One of these dudes does come back for Nun 2, but sadly Father Burke died on the way back to his home planet. So,
womp womp.
You keep like referencing stuff that happens in Nun 2, and like there's a bit at the very end where I was reading your note specifically, which is when I realized and found out that the Nun 2 involves Sister Irene and Frenchie and all of that shit, and I was like literally gobsmacked, because this whole time up until that exact moment when I heard people talking about the Nun 2, I thought it must be set post Conjuring 2, and like it's Valak after the Warrens have dealt with her. What do you mean that the nun is still involved with what Irene is doing?
Just you wait, Henry Higgins. Just you wait.
Oh God, not the Henry Higgins.
You've got to
reference.
stop quoting Disney movies.
We have.
Disney owns it now.
No. Oh God, I was just stabbed through the heart.
The real horror. Merrily, while David recovers, could you please tell us about the next part of the movie?
Absolutely, it would be my pleasure. So they finally reach the convent, and the atmosphere is just super spooky. Up to and including the body of the nun from the prologue sitting up from where Frenchie had left it. The horror.
You didn't like that.
That actually scared the shit out of me.
Okay.
That was freaky. That was genuinely creepy.
Okay, listen. On the one hand, I really, like, that could be really good. So much other stuff happens with nuns' bodies in this film. I had to watch this movie 3 times because I did the notes and all of, like, that's how my process works. By the 3rd time, that made me furious because I fucking hate the zombie nuns. We're gonna get into it.
I do too, but yeah.
Yeah, so like, by the 3rd time when I see that, I just get mad. Anyway, so they decide to bury the nun and discover lots of graves in the graveyards have bells on them, which certainly won't come in handy for later. Wink. Inside, the abbess, with giant air quotes, tells them that they have arrived too late to talk to the nuns, because of course the nuns take a vow of silence while the sun is down, which we won't see at all later, doesn't matter. So they have to stay in like a different part of the convent tonight. Burke sends Frenchie back to the village while he and Irene get settled in. Frenchie gets attacked on his way back to the horse by a zombie nun. In the convent, Burke and Irene have dinner and talk, Irene talks about and reveals her past psychic visions. Burke talks about a fatal exorcism he performed years ago on a young boy named Daniel.
Yeah, and this is where Burke shares that when he was doing the exorcism for Daniel, it's while he was serving as a priest during the war. Again, it's like it almost feels like I'm being given breadcrumbs to lead to something that just only pays off in a small way and not even a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Daniel plotline, if I'm being real, really doesn't work for me at all.
No.
Yeah, this is something that I mentioned later, but it's like the first time, because Valak uses Daniel to haunt Father Burke and like give visions and that kind of shit. I watched that and it had a horrible sinking feeling in my gut. It was like, oh my god, they're trying to do like a Daniel spinoff. He's like the thing that they're trying to like make another fucking movie about. And that bugs me.
Can we talk about the abbess?
Yes.
Yes.
For a second. Father Burke, I don't know what you were doing when you were supposed to go to demonology class or whatever, but like go back to school, because I have never encountered something that I was like, oh yeah, that's evil. Because she's just sitting there. She kind of creepy sounding. She speaks French, which is kind of evil to begin with. I don't know. This is the most evil thing I've ever seen depicted in front of me, and I've met Bob Iger, so I just can't. Yeah, burn Bob Iger from when I was a senior in high school. Eat it. Yeah, fuck him even then. He was trash then. He's trash now.
Yeah.
Come on the podcast, Bob Iger.
Yeah, defend yourself, Bob Iger.
I'm sure he will. I know
Not
he
with
loves
lawyers.
he loves
No,
uplifting
kidding
queer
me?
voices, so of course he'll come talk to us.
All we have done for an hour is bash Disney. He will not come on this podcast.
Yeah, David, that was the last straw.
That was it. That was the one.
Oh god. It truly is shocking that nobody says anything about the obvious rotting corpse that is the abbess.
She even
The
knows
abbess.
things that are impossible for a normal human to know about our protagonists. Like
No,
she
like
knows.
not even that. Like she just appears in the room and nobody says jack or shit about it.
She's just very quiet and sits on a throne with the Ouroboros
big-
on it. Definitely
It's a
very
big chair.
Catholic
It's a
vibes.
big chair. It's a big chair. I will allow that they could have missed her on the big chair. I will even suspend my disbelief that far. But then nobody is like, "Girl, what's up?" They're just like, "Oh, cool. Nobody can talk to us, but you're chilling out here, and you're just gonna sit there on your big squatty potty." Frenchie gotta go. Frenchie got to go. Frenchie is out of here.
Oh god. The whole thing with the zombie nuns pissed me off.
I fucking hate the zombie nuns. I hate them
Why are they
so
here?
much.
That was the moment where I was like, I see now why people don't like this movie.
But then, like, is it a zombie nun? Is it a ghost of a zombie nun? Is it a vision that Frenchie's having? Because this first
That's
time...
part of what
the
I
first
don't.
time is fine. The first time is fine. Like
I don't
again, the
even
more
like the
I've watched
first
this
time.
movie, the more I've loathed this part.
But the first time he just sort of imagines it hanging near him because he was the one who saw the hanged Sister Victoria. He's going through some trauma, PTSD.
Yeah, that's the thing that he was dreaming about earlier, like the hanging nun and the crows.
Yeah.
And like
I'm not-
I get that. I get like all of that. It's just later it's made abundantly clear these are physical, actual rotting corpse nuns that are attacking people, and it just is such a fucking bummer.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, and it's like there's a point in this scene where the zombie nun flops on top of Frenchie, and he's definitely interacting it within a physical space. And then I was just like, okay, it's
That
not
you
a
gotta
ghostly
go.
vision. Then why is it here?
No, I mean, even that I can excuse. Like,
Oh,
because
see,
that could
I-
be, like, Valak messing with him. That could be,
I
like,
didn't even
sometimes
like that.
ghosts manifest physically. That's all fine. I can excuse that. It's later in the film where other things occur.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
We'll
it's-
get we'll get
And then
there. But
I can't look at back at this fondly anymore.
I remember. I think you're right, Tyler. Though I think that if Frenchie had fallen to his butt and then looked up and there was nothing there, but he was still like, "The fuck this," that would have been a better film because then
would've,
you would have
yeah.
been setting tension. It would have been more tension rather than weird jump scare.
Mhm.
Exactly. And, like, the way that they have that nun model with, like, you could see her teeth, and just, like, so much stuff that they clearly, when they designed this, was like, zombie nuns is gonna be our big getcha. And I hated it. I hated it so much.
I did like him taking the cross headstone, though.
Yeah, that's
Any
fun.
weapon,
that was fun.
Any weapon will do. Frenchie is kind of our camp, so track that. You know,
Yeah.
he's a little campy.
He's our Jar Jar.
Please stop saying that.
It's not wrong.
You're not wrong.
I also think, I don't know, there is so, David, I'm going to let you be the main person to talk about this because I know you want to talk about it, but like the World War II stuff, I think is such a missed opportunity to really dig in more into, like, perhaps this was part of the plot line, like maybe the evil that was like fascism in World War II is what conjured up, no pun intended, like Valak from deep within the depths. Like, in a way,
yeah.
it is, because they said like, oh, the bombings like woke it up, but it seems to be more literal in that sense as opposed to like a figurative or spiritual awakening.
Right.
I kind of would have preferred that, because then I just feel like it would have had a little bit more weight to it, but as it is, it's just kind of like, what's the easiest way to bring Valak up from the depths? Oh, let's have a bomb land on top of the Abbey. But then the Abbey is also like mostly fine. So.
Yeah, and also like what was flying over Romania? Just look at a map of Europe real quick.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, let's for now, we're not to the bombing yet. That's Sister Owana territory. We haven't even met that girl yet.
All right. So that night, Burke is attacked by the evil of the Abbey, which borrows the image of Daniel, and Burke is buried alive. Irene wakes and is haunted by the dark shadow nun, Valak, before she runs outside and hears the bell from Burke's grave. All the bells start ringing until Irene tunes in with her psychic abilities to find Burke. While she's digging him up, Burke is further menaced by Valak inside the coffin, but Irene saves the day, and beneath where Burke was laying, they find books, and also decide to take them, which is a big question mark for me.
Can we just stop here, Tyler? It's a bridge too far. This is I think where I died a little bit in this film. I think the first time I watched this is the first time I checked the runtime, because the whole bell sequence in the graveyard is garbage. That he even fell into this coffin was garbage. That he chased this vision. You are a priest. You are supposed to be the strong one. And that she digs him out, and then they find like half of a MacGuffin in the ground where he was buried. Like, Valak, girl, like, have a better game plan. Don't give your enemy the tools. I hated that. Oh,
she must have had a lot of self-confidence, because his gravestone above the empty grave is like dedicated to him.
Yeah. No, like 1,000 years ago, Valak carefully made this grave for Father Burke, and then put, I don't know, some fucking guy with all of the tomes in it just so that this could happen later. Wild take. Plus, also, I want to specify that in The Conjuring 2, they, like, the way that Elizabeth Warren is able to defeat Valak is by saying this fucker's name. So, like, why is Valak providing all of the information about, like, its own biography to Burke in this moment? Like, what the fuck?
I will put him in the grave with all the secret weapons to defeat me, but it's okay. He'll be killed. It's fine.
And here's the deal. I'm not stupid. We watch movies literally as a hobby and then talk about them on podcasts. I understand that you set up a mechanic and then bring that mechanic back to be like, oh, remember that time we taught you about the bells? But it was 1 minute ago, gang. Like, I need, if you're going to do something like that, I need a little bit more real estate before you come right back to it. And this sucked. Oh God, This was the worst part of the movie. I wish he would have died. Burke.
I know.
Sorry.
Well,
Tyler,
apparently
feel free
he
to
dies
continue.
on the way back to his home planet too. So it's
sure
okay.
does.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we interrupted. You've still got some more stuff to talk about. Sorry about it.
Yeah, morning's here. The next morning, Irene heads into the Abbey alone with the key they found on the dead nun, while Burke researches in the books they found. Oh, by the way, they found a dead nun with the key and all that earlier.
I kind of always assumed that that's the guy that we find out was there later, like the guy who built the place. Like, he was buried with his hoard of evil manuscripts.
Yeah, that's what I think too, which makes it even stranger that they did that.
Whatever.
Irene finds a nun, Sister Ruth, praying. Sister Owana, who looks strangely familiar, explains their abbey practices perpetual prayers. so someone is always praying, and they all take shifts. We briefly check in with Frenchie in the village and discover the evil from the abbey is spreading to the village.
Oh, God. Oh, I thought it couldn't get worse than the graveyard scene, but this... Okay, the scene in the bar with Frenchie, when we open, it's him with a giant cross having a pint.
Yeah, and that's
Brilliant.
Great. That's a great visual.
That's camp
That's like
A+.
a strong contender for what I'm going to use for like the cover image.
Yeah. No notes. Excellent cover image if that's where we go, Marilee. That's wonderful. It's the, we have to cover the mirrors because someone's died. And French would be like, why are you covering the mirrors? I just live here and have learned all your customs except for this one. Sorry about it. God, the curse from the Abbey. Who cares?
It felt like, we're cribbing a lot from Bram Stoker's Dracula with this one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like these villagers who have such strange customs, and they're the only ones that know about the truth of the haunted abbey. Give me a break.
Yeah. No, I again, delightful to see Frenchie. That image, I love that image. That image is great. That image, it should have just been that for like 5 seconds. It would have been catharsis. It would have been a little bit of catharsis.
Yeah, or even it could have been like a scene of Frenchie like drinking after this happened, understandable, and like the bartender could be like, "What the fuck is that?" And like we could have had a fun joke. We did not need this extra like upping of the stakes. It's a demon. We already know the fucking stakes. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
It was real bummer. Also, I would like to apologize again. I did do these notes. Sister Oana, I said she looks strangely familiar. It wasn't her that died at the beginning of the movie. It was some other nun who I learned later was Sister Jessica. I just thought it was the same nun because they all look exactly the fucking same.
They all look fucking identical.
Well, isn't that the point of the vestments of the nun? Is to sort of remove
that is definitely
vanity?
what the whole point is. But
I'm not an expert on Catholicism. I just watched Father Dowling Mysteries.
I'm simply saying, if this movie could have possibly had one of the nuns give have them talk to each other with a fucking name, I would have known it was a different nun. Before like the last 5 minutes of the movie when I have closed captioning on, and that's how I also got Sister Jessica's name.
Well, you want two nuns to talk to each other, Marilee? Well, buckle in, because Oana didn't just go to nun preparation school, whatever that's called. Seminary? That doesn't feel right.
I know that's for the men. I don't know what they call it for nuns.
Lady seminary. She also went to 6 years of medical school. Did you know this, Marilee? Because this is Dr. Sister Exposition. Because Oana and Irene talk, and Oana gives the full and dark, horrible history of the Abbey. There will be a quiz following this historical review. It turns out that a duke from the Dark Ages attempted to open a gateway to hell, but was stopped in the nick of time by the church, who sealed the gate with the actual literal blood of Jesus Christ, which they carried around. They made a castle. They made the Duke's castle into the Abbey to contain the possible evil within it through prayer. Unfortunately, during World War II, 8 years earlier, a bomb was dropped on several, if we're to believe the CGI image, were dropped on the castle/abbey, and that caused the seal to be broken, and Valak has been creeping out ever since. Irene is shown to a room to sleep in before she's locked inside, as it's too late for her to leave. Later, she has a vision and is beckoned out of her mysteriously unlocked door by Sister Victoria. Irene explores the abandoned abbey until she finds herself in the hallway that we saw at the beginning of the movie and is terrorized by Valak. She is saved by one of the nuns, Sister Oana, who tells her to gather her things and head to the chapel, as only prayer will get them through the night. The actual literal blood of Jesus Christ is, to me, it's such a slap in the face to the power of transubstantiation and what makes that so interesting to Catholicism. That I hated.
This makes me scream every time. This was the point where the first time I was watching it, I was like, okay, well, certainly making choices. And every time I've watched it since, it makes me hate it more.
It's a very Chat GPT sort of solution.
Yes. In that it's both, I mean, you said it when you talked about the theme style, but it is both Deus Ex Machina and a MacGuffin, like at the same time. Like it is a sudden appearance of something as if God made it possible, and it is this mystical item that we've been chasing the whole film because of the visions she's had since being a child. I'll also say though, and I just want to be fair, if Sam and Dean Winchester were like, we need to go find the actual literal blood of Jesus Christ, I'd be like, fuck yeah, let's get in the Impala and drive to Rome.
Because they could drive to Rome, obviously, because Dean's not going to take a airplane. It's fine.
That the truth. I feel seen. But here's like, that's campy. And so if the actual blood of Jesus Christ had been campy, I might have been okay with it, but it's not. It's taken literally very seriously.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, is it's depicted campily. That's the problem with it. It's in a literal glass hand grenade looking orb.
Yeah, it's like a necklace.
And the blood is held in a glass cross-shaped vial. Like, it is a truly campy prop that was crafted, but it's like they treat it so seriously that I can't take any of it seriously because they're not in on the joke. And I feel like if it's campy, there should be like a little bit of self-knowledge of like what's going on, but it isn't. It's not there.
Listen, I'm totally with you, and I agree with you wholeheartedly, as you know. But there is some sort of Catholic artifact that is orbular that has Jesus's blood in it, or supposedly, that is a tourist trap, or whatever. But like, the orb didn't bother me as much because I have seen a painting of this like artifact.
Honestly, it looks like a very fancy like incense like holder that they have. They have like these orb incense holders that they can swing around and like incense will come out, and like it's a very Catholic kind of thing. So like on its own, the shape doesn't necessarily bother me. It's the fact that it's the actual literal blood of Jesus Christ that's the problem.
Yeah.
What a choice. What a series of choices that this film decided to make.
You might have seen my facial reaction to Marilee talking about swinging a, what's that, the scent thing called? It's like an incense, there's a word for
I'm
it.
not going to
It's a very complicated word.
Okay, great. The incense swingy thingy. The only reason I bring that up is that makes a major appearance in the Nun 2.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, because it's already kind of like a weapon.
Yeah, it's
thing.
very, it could be very, like, flail-like.
It is called a censer, CENSER, or a thurible.
What?
Wow.
THURIBLE, thurible, or turrible.
Rude of me. The censor is literally referenced in Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven. I should have remembered that.
How could you, David?
So rude. Ugh. The Nun. Yeah, okay. And, like, here's the deal. We made fun of Owana sister doctor exposition. But I think her whole thing could be kind of fun. Tyler, like, teased me about this earlier, like teed me up on it. But, like, the World War II of it all could be a very interesting through line of this whole thing. Father Burke's exorcism occurred as part of it. Dropping bombs on Romania, not between any sort of major strategic targets, but who cares? Those bombs ended up unleashing the evil that was like a Pringles can top away from being unsealed anyway. It's kind of interesting, but I'll tell you, it's really dreadful to watch. It is. Marilee's notes are so much better than what Sister Owana has to do, and that's nothing to the actor. That's all in the script.
Yeah, it's like, Here's the thing. This section in particular has driven me insane. I have lived in The Nun for like 2 weeks because I first watched it like last week, and just like for vibes to watch the movie, and then I've had to watch it again, and every time I have definitely thought about the script of this film more than anybody involved in the production of it, because what the fuck do you mean? What do you mean that Oana says something very specifically where she says that another evil was used to open the gateway, and it just really takes me out because it's like they're implying that Nazis were working with the devil on purpose to have the gate break open, and like if that's what y'all are doing, what the fuck, why wasn't it that movie? Because it truly is, especially because it is in rural Romania. I don't know why else they would be dropping bombs here, except that the devil was working with the Nazis to try and open this literal gateway to hell.
But then, okay, kind of fun. Like, stupid,
That
but like,
could be
fine,
fun,
whatever.
But
they should have spelled that out.
yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Like, you can't just imply things and
Right.
leave me, the known overthinker, to find my way out of the woods when I keep being like, okay, but like that's insane. Like, can you not like recognize that is, if that is what you're saying, just fucking say it? Because if it's just an implication, what am I supposed to do with this? What am I supposed to do with this, you guys?
Well, and I could use some raiders, Nazis interested in the paranormal. Like that's not outside of the realm of the world either. Like
no, that could be great.
That's kind of well
Again,
established.
Yeah.
This just makes me want like Miracle Hunters, the movie with them, and like them fighting evil devil Nazis or like communists or whoever
God.
the bad guy they want it to be.
Right.
And it makes me so sad that this nothing is what we have instead.
Exactly. The bones of this movie are so fascinating,
No,
but
it's
all
not
of
even
the
the
choices
bones.
that were made.
It's not the bones.
That's the thing. All the choices that were made, terrible.
If they wanted to do just a spooky nun in an abbey movie, that they could have done that, and it could have been really great. But I feel like they were so interested in expanding the mythology that they kept throwing these things in that are so much more interesting than what we got, and it's a bummer. In the vision that Irene is having, we see Sister Victoria once again going through the window. So is this
counts.
4
We're up
or
to 4.
3? Because it doesn't
It's
happen.
4.
It's just
no,
a
it's
vision.
4. Nope. Every time I say it, it's 4. Because the one in Faith in chapter 2 was a dream, so it still counts. 4. We're up to 4. 4 out a window.
Please keep that note card handy. We're gonna be using it all month.
There's quite a lot of trickery with the visions in this movie.
Yeah.
Especially from this point on. I don't know how well they work, and I'll have lots to talk about in a forthcoming scene. But like this is where things start to get a little like you're losing me in terms of plot that leave me confused as opposed to like whoa. Right. You know, and that's what they want is me to go like whoa, but instead it's just like wait, that was real, that wasn't real, who is this person, are they really there?
And we talked about this when we talked about the ritual, which was that if I'm too confused, I can't be scared. And so you've got to keep me and you know what? Honestly, there's a lot of shared DNA between these because Motor looked pretty cool to look at, but Motor was at her scariest when you weren't quite sure if you saw her or not. And the demon nun, Valak, is just the same. More scary when you're not quite sure if you see her or not. But at least when I finally saw Motor, I was like, yes, Queen Slay.
It's the Jaws
when I see Valak, I'm like, yeah. When I see Valak, I'm like, get some Falas.
Or even like Psycho. So like Norma Bates, aka Norman Bates, is so interesting when we see her in shadow or from a weird angle.
But as soon as Norman runs out to be like, I'm Norma Bates, you lost us.
And it's so no. I don't think they lost us there. I think it works because it's so brief that we just sit there with the shock, and then afterwards is when we have like the come down.
And it's
when
really
you
works.
show. If you show Norma like 3 or 4 times beforehand, and I saw that it was clearly Norman Bates, well, I'm bored.
Yeah.
Now
there's no surprise,
There's
and
no
that's
tension.
kind of where we're at. Ugh, nun.
Stupid nun. Anyway, tell us more about this stupid nun movie, Marilee.
Okay. So meanwhile, while all of this is going on, Burke is terrorized by visions of Daniel as conjured by Valak. Specifically, I see this a bunch of times where a snake is crawling out of his mouth. This is important because Valak is, of course, the king of serpents or whatever the fuck they said. I didn't write it down because it doesn't fucking matter. In the chapel, Irene discovers Sister Oana's fresh corpse before all of the other nuns run in, and they form a circle around Irene. Sister Ruth, who is the one who was praying earlier, I wrote these names down, but they don't matter. This is just for me because I will go crazy. There are just too many nuns. She tells them that she has to keep looking forward and praying no matter what happens before Valak attacks them. Cutting back outside of the abbey, Burke teams up with Frenchie, who came back early to rescue them, and they kill a zombie nun. Valak continues its attack, focusing in on Irene and scratching a pentagram on her shoulder, but then we hear Burke and Frenchie approach. Irene assures the nuns that they will help us, help them with all of the situation, and she unbars the door, revealing to them that she is completely alone. And Oana, and presumably and all of the other nuns have been dead for a long, long time. Dun dun dun.
Nun nun nun.
Oh my god.
I don't know. Marilee's notes make this seem so much better than it is, gang.
Yeah.
The interspersing of Irene's conflict and Burke's conflict sounds like a good idea on a piece of paper. In execution, again, anytime we're focusing on Burke and Daniel, I just simply could not care. And I was interested in Irene. I do like Irene. I like that she has prayer as a weapon. She's going to use it. She's doing that. The word of God is my sword and my shield. I'm super into Ephesians or whatever the fuck that came from. Go, girl, go. But I don't like the Daniel stuff. I don't like the Burke stuff. I do love Frenchie coming back. I love Frenchie with a shotgun. I don't think that's a surprise to anyone. I like that the nuns weren't there. That they were dead the whole time is also kind of a letdown, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Because what's the plan, Valak? Why?
So
There could have been a cool version of this that was a little bit more like Black Narcissus, I think is the movie, where the nuns become slowly corrupted and sexualized over time. Now, we didn't have to have a whole bunch of horny nuns, although that would have made the movie more interesting. But if we just had nuns that were maybe really seeming normal on the outside, but then on the inside they've been doing satanic rituals and shit without even realizing it, which is a little bit like what happens in Faith with some of the people in the apartment that fall under Gary's sway. But no, we don't get any of that, and instead they've been dead this whole time, which makes this whole vision thing very odd. And the whole thing with the pentagram being carved on Irene's back, and then it actually isn't a big deal after all. It's so much happens that's just fake, and I hate that. I feel very robbed. I hate that. It's very cheap.
But does it spook you and scare you, Marilyn? That's the problem. Is I don't mind just to spook them and scare them, but then I need to be spooked them and scared them.
Here's my thing. I've done that thing where I've just assumed something is canon the whole time and never bothered to question it. So apologies. I have always been under the impression that the other nuns were there because they were still trying to have their perpetual prayers, keeping the thing in place. And so when the nuns are doing stuff, it's their actual ghosts are trapped there by Valak, and they're trying to fight against him the whole time. And so that's why they've been, but that's just me giving the movie a lot of grace. It truly does not make any sense.
Undeserved in a topic area where grace should be freely given. I don't think that this was earned. I've got to say, I think that Sister Jessica and Sister Victoria were the last two nuns in the
believe
Abbey.
that too also.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's any ghostly goodness going on. I think this is all just Valak mind games, which, okay, if she's a campy queen, I'm kind of I'm into some untucked mind games. Get it, girl. Go into the workroom and just spill. But it's not enough that for me to believe that she's this manipulative mastermind who's causing all of this chaos just so that she can fuck with ultimately what she would be doing is fuck with the faith of Irene and Burke.
But she's uninterested in that.
Interesting. Well, but she should be, because that's what the Catholic subgenre is all about.
Yeah, for real. I will
And
say...
they are... It feels like they're trying to do that with Burke, but they so completely fucked up how that story should go.
Yeah, honestly, his storyline is one of like the biggest wastes, in my opinion, because they could be doing something really cool here. Like this regret that has like filled this guy for like 8 years about like what happened to this young boy and his involvement with his death. Just like the botched exorcism narrative like haunting him, like that could be really good, and I implore you to watch the Exorcist TV show to see something where that like really works. But like it's just all a nothing. It's a nothing. And I will say that one of my biggest laughs and the entire movie happened in this section, because the scene where Valak attacks and all of the other nuns are like scattered like bowling pins, that makes me laugh really hard.
Yeah, they go flying, but then they take care of each other, but they're all visions of Valak.
It's purely to trick us, the audience, which I hate.
I wish that they had put their foot down. Like, are these the ghosts of the nuns who are trying to stop Valak? And, like, has their advice been real? Or is this Valak trying to fuck with Irene and the audience? Pick a fucking lane.
Yeah, it does not. And it will not, because we will continue on to the, I guess, climax. Frenchie and Burke want to leave immediately. Frenchie, again, couldn't go higher in my stock portfolio. I love you, Frenchie. Marry me. And they especially want to leave because the dead Sister Awana zombie nuns out at them. That's right. The conflict isn't over. Valak's still around, repossessing nuns and flying them at people. But they light her ass on fire, and that's the only...
Frenchie shoots her with the shotgun because he was saving that for an emergency. Frenchie's great.
Fucking
hate zombie nuns.
That. Did love his little John McCain moment. It seemed like an emergency. Yeah. Oh God, I love it. This is a Christmas movie. Get it?
John McClane.
Okay. John McClane. Sorry, what did I say?
John McCain. I was like, do you know something about what he was doing? Like when he was a POW in Vietnam?
Don't you know who my father is? Wow. No, that's all staying in. Okay, but Irene knows that they need to stop Valak and close the gate. And, she's had this vision ever since she was a child, so we're going to see it through. But first, she wants to take her vows to officially become a nun. That's fine. We can visit the save point before going to the final boss. I'm not mad about that, Irene. Whatever.
She's putting on the spider suit.
She does. Yeah, you know what? We do get a hero. This is the Avengers hero moment, I guess, for Irene.
Yeah.
So she suits up. She's in her actual, like, get it girl, nun vestments.
Her habit.
And because of the clue from Irene's visions, they find the relic, Jesus Christ's actual blood, before descending into the catacombs and looking for the gateway. They split up. I just can't.
So dumb.
So they can cover more ground, but you know what? This one doesn't go on the list of large basements because they're catacombs. They should be large. And they're not even that big. They are immediately separated and attacked by Valak, with Irene even becoming temporarily possessed. Frenchie rescues her by smearing some of the blood on her face before Valak tosses Irene out of the room and strangles Frenchie. Burke is bitten on the face by a snake. Don't worry about it. And eventually, Irene, held under the water by Valak, in his moment where he thinks he's about to be triumphant, she hands him the glass hand grenade. He looks at it thinking that he's won. She comes up for air and spits the blood that she drank into his face. In our huge hero Carol Danvers moment, Irene, get it! And that closes the gateway, I guess.
Because the blood drops into the water, it makes it all holy water, and now it's all fine.
Yeah, it's like sucking her down into the pits of hell.
Whatever. And he dies literally like a Final Fantasy boss in that he like pixelates away. I just dunsy with this.
I am so mad at the way these things happened, because Valak is meant to be this like unstoppable force of evil, and A of all, how does it choose to kill his victims? These last two people, choke them out, and then like Big Teeth doesn't do anything about it, and yet also cannot tell when someone is faking death.
Yeah. should have gone to demon school a little bit longer and not gone out and had cigarettes with your friends at the bleachers, Valak.
Valak, definitely was like, I'm getting to demon school on a football scholarship, and then they broke their leg in the spring semester of their freshman year, and now they're like, shit, no, I have to really work at it. But this is their leg breaking moment. This is when they're just like, oh, frick.
But you know what? That's when Valak first was like, I could use a flowier bottom instead of these tight jeans that I've been wearing. What about a nice habit? Oh, I like this. This is cute. Okay.
Well, becoming an evil nun can be habit forming.
Jesus Christ. Okay, just to give credit where it's due, every once in a while, I don't think with the zombie nuns so much as what I think are ghost nuns.
Yeah, like the ghost nuns, good. Zombie nuns, please, I'm begging you, stop with the zombie nuns.
I think the ghost nuns actually work okay in the catacombs as sort of a... because they're lighting them well. This is what I'll say is we actually do some good lighting down here. It's the zombie nuns that I think are too much because you're adding this like element of death and decay into it that I don't think has otherwise been earned or sort of justified by the story. But when there is like a sea of nuns sort of shambling their way towards Father Burke and he has to like throw oil on the ground to make a fiery cross like he's fucking Simon Belmont in Castlevania, but like whatever, at least that was cool. And they looked threatening, not scary, but
and I think the best part of like those horde of ghost nuns is like you don't know which one is Valak. So like you have like this threatening mass, and one of the worst things that you could potentially like encounter in this fucking abbey is like maybe in them or maybe not. Maybe the Valak's doing someplace else. I think that all works. Please stop putting these physical corpses of nuns in situations. They suck. They're not good.
They be in situations, to quote a Twitter post.
Yeah. I'm struggling. I struggled every time I watched this with understanding when the men were alive and dead, because I truly thought Burke was outsies and Frenchie was outsies and our nun was all by herself, which actually could have been this like really fun, heroic moment here at the end. And because it's not, that gets a little undercut for me.
You know, this movie has absolutely zero people who die besides the two nuns on the top, because everyone else is dead from the beginning, and the three of them survive the whole time. And
let's talk about that, because that's exactly what our conclusion is all focusing on.
Yes.
So we see that the day is saved. The evil is defeated. Frenchie saves Irene from drowning, giving her the kiss of life, and reveals his first name is Maurice. Burke is probably blind in one eye because he's got like a cool blue like pupil now, but otherwise he's fine.
Don't worry about the snake bite.
That's all that happens.
We're all good.
A snake bite from evil, you're totally fine. There's probably no venom or anything in there to kill you or make you evil or whatever. Anyway, Irene even makes sure that all the nuns are buried properly on this still probably hella cursed ground, but again,
don't worry,
whatever.
the gate's
We're not going to think too hard about it. Yeah, it's fine. As they pack up the horse cart to go, Frenchie reveals he's done with Romania. He's planning on heading back to Canada to grow tomatoes, which he hosts is extremely boring. That I can get. After living through interesting times for so long, I'm ready for boring.
Sure.
On his neck, however, an upside-down crucifix appears under his skin. Dun dun dun. The movie then cuts to footage from the first Conjuring film with a subtitle reading 20 years later to the talk given by the Warrens that Carolyn Perron attends, but with Frenchie's face edited into the footage. Oh no, they weren't like playing a long game or something with that?
Nope.
Sucks.
Nope.
So there's even a retcon in the conclusion? That's so dumb. I hate a book.
It's interesting, but that's why they have to say that he's doing tomato farming, because the dialogue originally recorded was like this tomato farm, French Canadian tomato farmer.
Tomato farmer who had never had more than a third grade education was speaking perfect Latin.
Mm-hmm.
Such
God.
Fucking...
Anyway, we see a flashback to the final battle showing when he was possessed by Valak, before the new film footage continues, showing Frenchie whispering to Elizabeth Warren, giving her the vision of Valak killing her husband, and closing the loop of this movie.
Okay, so here's the thing. Frenchie being like, oh yes, my name is Manuel. That could have been a fun, oh, it's nice to meet you. I'm Stark, Tony Stark. Like, that could have been a moment of being like, you know who I am, even if you don't remember knowing who I am. That gave you sort of the end cap. but this is all a haphazard mess because Frenchie is a main character in The Nun too.
That fucking
Are you
blows my
serious?
mind. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. The Nun too.
Is he evil in that one?
Yes, because he's carrying Valak around with him.
It's
It's
fucked.
But then what? Then Tyler, without even having seen it, Tyler and Marilee, because neither of you seen it, right?
No. Again, up
Great.
until when,
Okay.
like, right before recording, I was scanning through, and I saw that note. The whole time, when people talked about The Nun 2, I had been assuming that it takes place after The Conjuring 2.
Okay, so now you know it doesn't. It takes place after The Nun. It is still a prequel to even The Conjuring. Now that you know this, and you know that eventually the Warrens encounter Frenchie, and there is an upside down cross that appears on his body, what do you think? They can't resolve the evil in The Nun 2, can they? Because he must still be evil.
Yeah, he still must be evil.
I think
And
what's
yet-
happening is it is like a Scooby-Doo sort of thing where Sister Irene is just like, what is causing all of this death? It seems like something that happened with Valak. My partner, Father Burke, died on the way back to his home planet of Vatican City. So, Maurice, come with me. And he's just like, sure thing, Irene. Wink back to the audience.
Oh my
And
God.
he's the one doing all
Wow.
the crimes, but she has no idea. And then they
Can I
arrest
tell
someone.
you? 20 times better movie because they just happen to bump into each other. I almost want the two. I think The Nun 2 was better than The Nun.
I don't think
will
that's
also
possible.
say that. Well, okay, there's that. I think she gets a fun nun sidekick. They have nun adventures together. The nun adventures that you all wanted Burke and Irene to have together. I actually think it's kind of fun. I think the Frenchie of it all, you just needed to let this guy go. You just got to but he's hot, and I get it.
People liked Frenchie. That's fine. I'm furious that that's what they've done. It didn't even have to be called a nun. Again, you could have called it anything else, though I do think Nun 2 Back in the Habit would be a really great name, especially if we have a second nun doing adventures.
But, yeah.
That's fun. Love all of that. What the fuck are they doing? I wish that they had just done Miracle Hunters, and that could have been it.
Oh well.
Can
Oh
I
well. We tell
say
me.
something
Please.
Because
that I
let's do
just
it.
realized?
Mm-hmm.
So Frenchie is our Jar Jar Binks, right?
Again, I still hate
Yes.
that you say that, but go on.
Frenchie being possessed by Valak and doing all sorts of horrible things
Dark
kind
Sith
of
Lord?
makes him the Darth Jar Jar that we were all hoping was the true villain of the Star Wars movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know enough about Star Wars to understand that reference.
Well,
Well, David gets it, right?
turning now to our correspondents from Distant Echoes, Tommy and Cass, who will confirm that the Darth Jar Jar theory was a popular internet shared meme about that Jar Jar Binks was actually the true malevolent force in the prequels.
I think the true malevolent force in the prequels about Jar Jar Binks was racism, but,
Yeah.
Hmm.
And
Well,
also, like, treating
Not just Jar Jar.
the accent that was offensive to Jamaican people. There was a lot of offensiveness going on in that movie.
Yeah. I prefer to only offend French people. Come at me, French. There's a giant mountain range between me and you. Go for it.
listen, if you are French and you are mad at David, please do not email us at fearcodedpod@gmail.com. I answer those emails. Please don't do that.
At
Well,
him
wait.
at dmuma at bsky.social.com.
You should do that, especially if you are French, because I can get to you. And
that is a threat.
In France.
Over the mountains.
Well, or a promise, depending on what you're into. But before we start pimping me out to the listenership, I gotta ask some questions now that we're here at the end of the Nun journey. Was this film horror, and potentially more importantly, did we find any more queerness in our analysis of this film?
I think it's horror in the sense that I would find it in the horror section at Blockbuster.
Mm-hmm.
I think, as we talked about it more, this has not happened too often, but I think I am less inclined to call Sister Irene our queer heroine.
Oh, she's ace, but you decided.
By the end of the movie, that's true, she is ace. But by the end of the movie, it feels like they have done so much to try and make her seem much more of like a badass that I think it actually kind of defeats what was interesting about her, which was that she was powerful as a nun, but in this case she's kind of more like super nun or like warrior nun. She feels more like a warrior nun.
Warrior Nun is such a weird show. You should watch it, by the way.
Oh god. I don't know. It feels like she becomes kind of less queer because she's fitting more of a action heroine dynamic, which is something that our Western culture has said is like, that's okay, that's permissible, because Lara Croft is an action heroine. She's got big boobs, so therefore we allow it.
That's fair, and I respect that.
It to me, it reads more like Princess Leia. If we continue with Star Wars, like they try to make her be more like Princess Leia, and I you know what? I'm going to take that back because I bet you could argue successful that Princess Leia was a queer hero.
Yes, she's bisexual.
So
and she was in love with Laura Dern.
Pulling that back. I am pulling that back, but I still am making my point that I think Irene, the movie makes her less queer, or less like abundantly queer.
Yeah,
than she could have been.
I think there's too many times of her being saved by men.
100%. They have her saved by, and like they damsel her a few times, and like again, a young woman getting possessed, that's pretty queer. That does happen to her. That's a little fun. I see what you're saying, and the movie is too heterosexual and like deep in the miasma of like presumed heterosexuality to allow Irene to be the queer heroine that we know that she is.
That is exactly it. Thank you, Marilee.
I think she's got a little bit of wiggle. I'm going to be the one who pushes back on this one because I think she's got a little wiggle as like a Ripley. I think there's things to come from Sister Irene, and I do know that I also have extra textual knowledge from this film. I hate that she had to get saved so many times at the end because I think that takes away a lot of that power and really diminishes it. But Irene will return, and so I think there's at least that.
I think like we didn't talk about this either, but I think to that point, David, the thing that pissed me off the most about this ending was that when they come down into the bottom of the catacombs and they're about to find the Jesus blood, there's the statue of Mary clearly pointing at a spot in the wall, and for some reason, Irene, the person with the vision, is not the one to figure out, oh, Mary points the way, we should go dig in this wall. Instead, it's fucking Frenchie, who has to mansplain to her. I think it was Frenchie. Yeah. What? It was it Burke?
Yeah. It was Burke because he was like,
still
I
bad.
need more lines.
He's mansplaining her own vision to her.
Worse. At least if it was Frenchie, he could have been like, well, how about where that bitch is pointing? Because then at least I could have had a catharsis laugh there at the end. But instead it was Burke being like, I have an imperceptible accent, but I am Mexican. Look over there. Look over there. That's what we got there at the end. I hate. God, you're so right, Tyler. God, I hated that it was a man who had to, and she was just standing there, being like, "Where could it be? I just have a key." Tee hee hee.
It sucked. It fucking sucked. I hated that. It's fine. As always, I decide and find queerness where it isn't, and I have personally decided that sisters Victoria and Jessica were in love, and they spent their last days in the Abbey terrorized by the nun and kissing each other. So there's that.
Wow. Terrorized lesbians. God, we love a theme on this podcast.
And so this movie retroactively does bury your queers, and that's a bummer. It's another reason why this movie sucks.
It's like every time we find like an angle in this movie where it's like, well, it's actually better because of this reason, then we find another way the movie pointed out, like, wrong, sorry, queer person, nah.
Yeah.
Anyway, any other final thoughts for this episode? Anything you wanted to point out? Or any other conversations that you want to have?
I just got to say that, again, I want to justify my reasoning for selecting this in that I think that the nun that was given to us in Conjuring 2 that sparked all the interest in all of this was an effectively designed monster and did deliver highly qualified scares. And if this film had not just been doors opening to dark, empty spaces, which I don't have a specific phobia of, this could have been a better movie in so many ways. I can't believe that the runtime was 1 hour and 36 minutes because every time I looked down, I was checking that runtime and it felt like it was getting longer every time I looked at it, like a clock that you're waiting to hit 3 p.m. to leave school for. I just couldn't get away from this movie, and I will be glad to never visit it again.
God, that's so real. That's so valid. Very similarly, this movie was like the nega Black Christmas for me. As listeners may or may not recall, I also did the notes for Black Christmas. The first time I watched it, wasn't really impressed. I had to watch it a bunch of times as I do the notes. So by the third time, I was so fucking in. I loved that movie. That's not the case here, because the first time I watched The Nun, I thought of it as a fine little nothing movie. It was a little silly. It's not, like, great. It could have been 20 minutes shorter, but, like, it's not offensive. It's fine. It's whatever. I loathe this movie. I hate this movie. This does not bear the weight of repeated viewings. I've hated it every single time I watch this movie. No one. You could watch it. Go ahead. Feel free. It's again, it's fine the first time. No one should watch this movie 3 times. No one. No one should ever watch it 3 times. Don't do that to yourself. I deserve financial compensation. What the fuck?
Here we both are, Marilee. Here we both are.
Yeah.
Only Tyler made the right decision this week.
And I watched a movie once, and that is all I need to watch, because it was a 2-star of a movie.
Yeah, it's fine. You watch it once,
2.
It's fine. Anymore, it will drive you insane. I'm insane. I've lost my marbles. You could probably tell. Also, can we bring back people who know how to like fucking movies? What are we doing? What are we doing as a society?
Girl, I know.
I'm still aghast at 2. 2?
What did you give it, David?
A half.
Just half?
You've seen it 3 times, though. Tyler's only seen it once. It's fine for him.
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
true. I'm in Marilee's, like safe zone. Like, it's
not good, but it's fine.
Not offensive.
I'm at a single star, but I will say The Nun 2, for me, 2.5.
I'm not going to watch it unless you make me.
By that math, I'm going to give it a 4.
Well, then maybe this will actually be your favorite movie, then. You should watch The Nun 2.
I'm not doing it unless you make me.
I really hated the movie by the time it was over. I still gave it a 2 just because I really liked the first third.
Yeah, the first third were good.
The first third was enough to justify 2, and then it just never improved.
Yeah.
It was also, I did not like it on Letterboxd. I only just gave it the 2 stars.
Oh, well, I'm shocked to learn this.
Devastating burn. I love that.
Marilee, please take us home before David tears off more of my scalp. Reading me, tearing my wigs off, throwing them into outer space.
Got it. I did need the bridge to be built for me. I apologize. That was
okay. That was really funny. Thank you so much. All right.
Well, it's important. Not all of our viewers will know, or not all of our listeners might know that reference, so it's okay.
Yeah, so thank you all so much for listening to this episode. Please remember to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. In a shocking twist, it turns out that we were all dead the whole time. And you can find our ghosts on Instagram and Blue Sky at FearCodedPod.
If I was dead, then I'm definitely in hell for watching this movie. But you know what's not hell? The heaven that is a queer podcast collective, because this podcast is part of the Glitterjaw Queer Podcast Collective. If you'd like to listen to more queer media podcasts where the hosts actually like what they're talking about, check out the full roster of Glitterjaw. Nope, that promise is not redeemable for all things covered by the collective. But you can check out the full roster of shows at glitterjaw.com. And join us next week where your mother listens to podcasts in hell, because Excommunic-April will continue as we cover the classic 1973 William Friedkin film, The Exorcist. But for now, we will simply say goodbye.
Goodbye.